Perfect. We are live now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the world you are. Hope you are all doing amazing and having a great day. Thanks for joining again with another session from Microsoft Zero to Hero Learning Room community with Microsoft Learn. And we're so excited with another session, especially the first session of June, first session of the month, together with Carlos Lopez about DAB essentials, building dynamic APIs for Azure SQL database. I'm so excited about the session topic and looks really interesting. I'm looking forward to learn more about Carlos's experience and knowledge in this session, and I'm sure you're gonna really enjoy it. So I have a few slides before going to the session. As usual, we talk about Microsoft Learn, Microsoft Tech Community, learning rooms, how you can use Microsoft Learn, how you can benefit from Microsoft Learn, all the free resources, the richest content ever that you can find anything about Microsoft Cloud technologies, Microsoft AI services. You customize the training and learning paths, exam certificates, and exam practices actually that you can do to prepare for the actual exam. And this is really an amazing opportunity. And I've just got feedback from sometimes from community that many people are not aware of this, but this is really a great feature that you can use it. So if you go to, for instance, any exam code page, AZ104, AI 900, AZ900, AZ305, and etc., any exam code, and if you scroll a little bit down, you will notice that there is a practice exam certificate, and if you click on it for free, you can have a simulated environment, and you can do a free exam just to get familiar with the questions and exam environment before going to the actual exam. So make it your homepage and stay up to date with Microsoft Learn news and services, and try to learn on a daily basis, and try to join to the learning rooms. If you aren't, so Microsoft Zero to Hero is a learning room within Microsoft Learn and Tech Community, and we are having weekly sessions and sharing a lot of great resources. We are all together actually in this path, learning Microsoft services and technologies. I'm so excited to learn more and more on a daily basis. So as you're aware, we just had Microsoft Build recently, and we learned a lot of cool stuff. And if you already missed it, and if you were in Seattle or watched online, I'm sure you really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot. If not, you can go and watch it again. And all these events, official events from Microsoft, are a great opportunity and a reason to learn more and more. Try to attend all these events. These are really great opportunities from Microsoft to take your AI knowledge, your cloud knowledge, your journey to the next level. As my last slide before handing over the stage to Carlos, we have a short code of conduct. So being aware of others, being friendly and patient, being welcoming and respectful during the session, be open to all questions and viewpoints, and understanding of differences, and being kind and considerate to others. So thanks for joining again. I'm going to add Carlos to the stage. Hi, Carlos. Thanks
Hi,
for joining.
good evening, good morning to everyone, wherever you are. Thank you for having me in this session. I'm excited to show you these new features, and I think that I can share that. So thank you for having me again. So if you want, let's
I'm
start.
just going to share your slides, and
Uh-huh.
then I'll go out of the stage. So good luck. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. So thank you again. My name is Carlos Lopez, and I will show you DAB Essentials, which is a data API builder for connecting Azure SQL databases. So here are my networks. Here are I'm a blogger, speaker, Azure Tech Group leader as well, and a SQL Saturday board member. I'm a Microsoft MVP as well for data platform, and well, I think that I can share a little bit about information today. So the agenda for today is very short for slides because I wanted to give all the attention to the workshop or the demos. So it is working with DAB. What is DAB? Which is Data API Builder, and what are the features and the security and the demos. So what is it? Actually, it is a package that provides extensibility to connectivity for databases to create REST endpoints and GraphQL for all the databases that you will see in a bit. What it does is create a communication interface. It has an engine in real time, so it creates the REST endpoints very fast and real time, and you can see all the methods that you need to use. Right now, it is on general available. The package. It is an open source. It's written in C sharp, and it's available as a NuGet package if you want, and can run it as a container. Actually, all that we're going to do it's through containers, but you can install it in a standalone environment as well, so you can have it as in any server that you like. So that's the good news. The features are that you can create REST and GraphQL endpoints. It supports uh, authentication, OAuth, and JWT authentication. It allows you to use role-based access controls for requests received. You can create REST endpoints with GraphQL for tables, views, and store procedure objects in relational databases perspective, right? So that uh, relational databases returns into as GraphQL or REST endpoints, right? And the other is the full integration with static web apps, Azure static web apps, and the database connections. And it's easy to implement using CLI instructions, which we will use, right? Um, the supported databases that allows to connect to REST and GraphQL are Azure SQL, all the products for container SQL or whatever SQL server that you have in Azure, MySQL, um, Postgres, and Cosmos DBs. So basically, that's the Cosmos vision for DAB to control all the databases with DAB. Um, in terms of installation, what you need is basically .NET 6 SDK installed. And with that, you just have to do the command by using .NET list SDKs. And the installation is .NET tool install global and or -G and call the data API builder as it is, and then it is installed in your machine. You only have to look at that the environment variables are updated into your local machine or whatever you're installing, um, and see that the variables are included into the library, and that's it. And you can check it by running dab -v, and you can see that the environment tools are there, and that's it. So what can you do with that is API REST calls, doing CRUD operations, the normal get, post, put, and delete, using HTTP methods, or you can use parameters. It allows you to use your browser as whatever API REST, and you can use get with you can use some parameter formats, so you can introduce select, filter, order by, first, and after, for example, during your get calls. So basically, that's our the Cosmovision for that, and the intention of this is to give the extensibility for normal um, databases to be uh, in connection with APIs and do whatever backend we need to do very fast, and not depend on backend construction by hand. Whatever makes us our work very lightweight. So that's a good thing. So let's go to the demo, because that's what I wanted to show you, the scenario of the full things working. So for today, let me show you first before going to the using. What we'll do is use code spaces using VS Code for the entire, almost the entire session. But before going into that, I wanted to show where I get that part. So there is a a repo that is called VS Code Remote Try App, where you can look at. And the only thing that you have to do is open GitHub code spaces, and we'll create your code spaces uh, for you, and we'll create a containerized scenario with all the tools that are in here. Here are the instructions that I followed also, because it's very simple. All the scenario is created for that. So we'll see all the goods and the perks that it has this scenario, so you can only test out and not go into configuring. I will show you how to configure, but this is very lightweight, one click go, and you can use it so you can see all the goodies that it has. So let's start with that. I already have my code spaces running. Let me do a refresh before we go, because I think that I already I will reload the scenario, the workspace, and it will take a little bit. Okay, so it's running. So now what we'll do is show you the what you should see when you're working with the workspace. Everything I did was on demo 3, so this is my personalized things that I did, but everything here is working with the code spaces. So the code spaces, it has already tasks that you can run using run task, and there are four things, sorry. One is running the DAB. One is executing the SQL query. What it does is just test the SQL database, the local SQL database in the container, and see that it's working. And you can use the extension for database project for building the database and deploy the SQL database. So that's the four things that you need to do, that you can do, but it is already prepared for you to use. So let's work with execute SQL query to check that is working. Since I have two databases here, one is Azure SQL and one is the container. This is the container one that is going to test. I need to manually run it and use the local. What I'll do is use the MS SQL extension and create the query. So now that we know that it works, that's all that we do, and we have data in the local. So that's it. So now let's try out the run task again and run the DAB. This is what it does is call the terminal, put it into the shell, and it will run the daemon. And the daemon, what it does is call the actual local host and put it in the URL that you're looking at. So if we follow that, let's see, 5,000. If we look at the Explorer, we'll see that the status is healthy, and we'll see that it's running. So that's everything that it does right now. And it has everything, all the collections and all the data is connected there. So we can query it out all the information for the local database. However, I just wanted to show you this as one of the cases that we can do, but we will personalize. For close it, you just need to Control C and close the terminal, and that's it. It did what it needed to do. So what we are going to test right now is an Azure SQL database. So for that, we will go again for the extension for SQL Server, and test out the Azure SQL. But I think that the collection closed my connection to that. So what I'll do is use the Azure SQL portal, the Azure portal to see the SQL database. So here I have it. I'll connect again because I think it was sleeping. It takes a little bit time here, but it do it because I'm using an Azure SQL serverless mode, and it has an auto pause and auto resume option. With that allows us to handle our thread. So it takes like 30 seconds, something like that, to resume operations. So we are not consuming our vCore minutes. So let's wait on that until it connects. In the meantime, let's see until it connects. Oh, okay. Sorry. Because it's sleeping still. Okay. Leave it there. Let's leave it there. I'm going to, okay. So now it's, sorry. So to go back and forth, this is the database. This is the tables, authors, books, and books authors, and that's it. We'll see that the books authors um, uh, all has the same data that the local, so we are good with that, and that's it. The other thing that important thing that I wanted to show you about this SQL Server is the option that you can have with this, and it is that I'm using the free tier. I'm using the new well, it's not new, it's like 6 months ago, the free pricing tier that allows us to use Azure SQL with 1000 compute time for that databases per month without costing anything. So I have 95,000 vCore seconds to use remaining. So that's a good thing. You can use it for free for Azure SQL serverless. So that's perfect for us and for any project that you want to use. Okay, let's return to the demo and let's start from scratch doing configuring a new DAB and doing this and connecting to the Azure SQL database that I just showed you. So for that, what I'll do is, let me clear. I'm going to the demo 3, and then I'm going to review if I don't have the JSON configuration file existing in the demo folder. Yeah, it did exist. So I'll remove that and I'll start from scratch. Okay, now what you need to do is do some operations with the shell, and for that, that's what I'm going to show you. What you need to initialize, the first thing that you have to do is initialize your DAB in the configuration with the JSON name that you're going to put, the database type that you're going to use, in this case is MS SQL, and the connection string. Note, for the connection string, the good practice is not to put all the connection string here, because that's a bad practice. The good practice is to use an environment variable and put the variable there. But in this case, since I'm doing multiple environment variables here, I don't want to mess up the actual container that the environment variables that are in the container and the DAB, which is this. So for that, I leave it just for the testing. But in your case where you're going to test, it's a good practice to put the asset variable. Okay, now what I did is to create a JSON file with this structure. And what it does is have all the parameters to run the runtime with the GraphQL, the host, the authentications, static web apps, and the all the parameters that there is. Here is the path for APIs and the path for GraphQL. That's it. We don't have any. We haven't created any entities versus the tables. Just note that for us, entities it means a relational database table, and the relations will do everything. We'll do it in DAB. So we just create the connection right now. So what I'll do right now is go again to the script and add some entities. For here, I created the two tables that we have. The source is the books, and the source is the authors, with the associated permissions. For this case, I'm putting anonymous and putting all the access to it, but you can granularity select which kind of security you're going to put, or how are you going to present the data. You can do that, but I don't want to. I want to show everything. And the other is I'm going to put another object, which is books author, which is the third table, which is one to many. This is the relational table between the one to many between books and authors. So that's it. Now I'm going to run it in the terminal, and it will update the JSON file. If we see here, now it has the entities, books, GraphQL, and API for both, for every object. For authors, GraphQL and REST. Okay, we have the three objects, and that's it. That's the only all the structure that the DAB file has, the JSON file has. Sorry. Now let's return again to the script and do another detail. Here's another kind of object that I can include, which is a view, different than a table. But this is the new another capability that it has. You have a store procedure as well. You just have to name it as it is and put it permissionless as it is here. But in my database, I don't have this created, so I will not run it right now. So I will not update the JSON file. Now that we have created our entities, I will start the DAB engine by running DAB start -c, and this is giving the location of the JSON that we have created. What it does is running in the background, and you can open the browser and see that it's running. Okay, so far so good. Now we see that everything is running on 5001 port. So what is the good things about the having this is that we can do several kind of things with the test. So what we'll do right now is doing the test in the terminal by doing some of the doing some curl operations and showing as jQuery. So let me show you here. Let me show you the operation. What it does in this operation is calling all the books for this is like a select star for all the objects that we have, right? We can call the authors here and returns the JSON as normal API will do. And books author, which was the view that we created, Oh, sorry, the relational table between both, one to many table, and the view. Let's see the view if I have the view. Yeah, but in this case, I don't have associated the name of that view because I changed the name, I think. So um, so let me I'll check that in a bit. So that's what you can, like, the essential things that you can do with your API. You just call your localhost at the port that you're looking for. Just put the API in the path and the name that you give in the JSON file. But remember that there is a difference between case sensitivity and the name of the table between the SQL, because for SQL Server there isn't any case sensitivity in terms of T-SQL, but in for the AP for the rest there is. So you have to check how you name it exactly. So that's the things that you can do for the first step. So I will stop now the dub engine and add some things, because in the next part, what I'll do is to put some relational relationships to the entities, but at um, REST level, not at database level. So for that, if you want to do any change, you have to stop your and just give Control C where your engine is running. You go again, and you can do the dab update operations. Let's see, we have it here. So I will do dab update to authors. Put the same permission to everything authenticated to the same file, the JSON file where we are updating, and put the relationship between books and the target entity and the cardinality for that relationship. That's for authors. That's doing a scenario for one to many for between authors and books, and then books and authors. So this is one to many, and this is many to one, right? You have to do like the two parts of the diagram, right? So you have to have four. So I'll run that, and we'll update my JSON file. If we go to the JSON file, we'll see we have relationship now. We have relations, and we see the cardinality here. We see the target entity. The same thing that we did on the script, we see it on the JSON. The singularity, singular to plural. So that's one to many action. Okay. So now that we have that, we'll run dub again. So go to the script. So I can run it here because I don't want to type anything. And we see that we don't have issues because you open the browser, we only see the alert, the information, and shows that it's up. So now that we have listening, we can do the next test. So for that, I have the same test, I think. Okay, GraphQL. Okay. Um, that's one part of the capabilities of what you can do, and the other I wanted to show you if you want to debug some information when you are running the dub, is that you have the ports here, and you can always see where it is running your dub. So basically, it is running on 5001, really routed to or forward to the port 5000. So it is always good to know that where your dub is, because you can have multiple instances or more than one dub running. So you have to be very careful where your dubs are. Here is the port that is related to the database, so that already know. So let's return to the terminal. Okay, so that's one part. Ahora, now let's go to another kind of tests. I'll go and do tests for the filters that you can do using API. So we already did. Uh, I'm using these kind of features here for some kind of I'm sorry, this is source control. I'm using extensions to use the get commands to use the get for all the filters that you're seeing. But there is another way to do it using your browser. So no worries about that. I can do this same request just to see that it works. Okay, so I'll do some kind of filtering because you already see the view. I think that it's not working here. Let's see. Send request. Yeah, didn't find API builder. Okay. Let's do some operations for get authors sorted by first name descent order and last name ascent order. So what we do is use the question mark order by equals to first name descendant and last name ascendant, and that's it. So what we do, we call that send a request, and we see the operation. This simple get operation, and this is the response. Okay, I'm doing this to do it practically, so we're not like going back and forth in our Explorer right now to see the returns of the sorting and the first name and last name queries. Okay. Now let's go and do get author's first name and last name, for example. So what it does, select equals to first name and last name, and that's it. Send request, and that's it. As you can see, first name and last name. That's what it filters. Now we can do the same. Equals, now we filter by the name of Asimov. Send the request. I did the filtering for Asimov, for example. Same first name, Isaac, for example. Isaac Asimov, which is the same, but I just put the capability of using an and equals to filter. And I'm doing different kind of operations, so you can see that you can do complex filtering in a single call. That it's a good thing because you can do a variety of things doing a simple call without doing a lot of code. So that's a good thing. For getting to know into all the filters, I put the following link, but I'm not going into that right now. And the other is using the GraphQL. Now we are going to go from that part, and I'm going to show you the GraphQL and the Swagger capabilities for this container, this code spaces that has configure GraphQL and Swagger. However, this works for me not using the Azure SQL database because I think that I have something in the environment variables that I changed for the containers. So what I'll do is I'll connect into the actual local database for the one that has the container running. So I'll change DAV. Instead of using the DAV that we built, I'll use the DAV in the local DAV to connect the database within the container. So for that, I'll do the run task. I'll do the run DAV, and it will change me to use the actual database in the local container instead of using the Azure SQL. So now let's see the ports, and it is running into 5,000 again. I think that it changed to, no, it left it into 5,000. Okay, so let's return to the terminal. The task will remain running because it will handle the operation to run the DAB. And let's open the GraphQL. So for that, what we'll do is go to the URL. Let's return here 5,000. No, it's 5,001. Yeah, 5,001. And I'll use the Swagger configured here, and I'll show you the index again. Let me refresh that. And what we can do here is do the same thing, but using Swagger. So we all know the capabilities of Swagger, but let's go into look into the author, the book, because this is the tables for the local right now. For the local DAB, we only have two tables. We didn't put more, but we can change the JSON if we want. Let's do that if you want, if we have time. But right now, for the capabilities, we can see that we have get methods for using author, using ID, filtering by ID, and without anything. We can use put ID, or using the filtering by ID, and a patch. And we have the CRUD operation for everything, and we can do get post for that. So let's go to get author, which is not asking me anything. And it doesn't require anything right now to run. It will do the select star. Here's the curl operation for that, and the author. And here are all the select star of the data that we have, right? So we have data from 1 to 5. Okay, so let's use the same method, but using the filtering. The same operation that we were doing with code in the terminal. So let's put 5. Okay, we have to try it out. Put 5 and then execute. And it's giving me only the 5th element. Here's the curl. You can take the curl if you like. Move it here. Let's move it. You can use the terminal if you like. Use the same scenario that we were testing before, which is just using the terminal, do the copy paste and the curl operation. Oh, because I think here is 5,000. Yeah, but it is a little bit fuzzy. So I'll use JQ, and gives you the value a little bit sorted out and beautified. Okay, let's return again to the Swagger. That's for API calls. And let's see that you can have all the operations here. And let's resume it to, okay, get author, open API. Let's return to the endpoint, and let's go to the book, for example. Same for the book. We can do that and do some operations there. So same that we did, get book, try it out, get select star. So the same thing. So that's a good capability that has the container, because you don't have to like configure anything. It already runs. And that's like the first part, to test all the APIs methods that you have. Now let's do another test for running the GraphQL. We haven't done anything with GraphQL. So let's go to the same 5,000, I think 5,001 GraphQL. And what it runs is banana pop K-pop created. So what it lets us to do here is the query operations, the query building to do GraphQL. This is already pre-configured as well, and you can use your queries here, for example. Let's run. Let's put it everything. Last name, middle name. So you're doing JSON. You can. I'm sorry. You're doing GraphQL. If you want, you can do whatever complex things that you want to do. You can do mutations. You can do whatever supported operations for GraphQL. But this is a nice environment to do the testing. So you can do the queries by authors. You can do the queries by title. You can do whatever operation that you're testing on running. And the goodies of this banana pop is that you can see the responses of your operations here. You see this one is failed. If you place the terminal, you can see all the posts. You can see where the construction or the request body or the request building, for example, the argument ID is needed because I didn't put the filter that I needed for the ID. And for example, it gives you a lot of hints where you can work. So that's a predefined scenario where you already have this banana K-pop and you have this already Swagger configured in that. However, if you don't like, in my case, I just find out that this container has that, but I already had that in another way because I did locals. So what I did was I used Postman operations, and I have these tests, and you can do your GraphQL, whatever you use, you can do it. For example, I had this author filter by GraphQL, for example. Let me see. You can do whatever object that you that is make your work easier, right? So I have this already filter out, and let's see the status. I think that the response it should come here. I don't know why. Weird. I don't know why it didn't fill. Okay, let's test another one. So I just wanted to show you this because there is a, I just have to define that because there is some, you can configure mutations there. You can do mutations and and this is the way that you can do updates. For an example, you can create elements. For example, you can create books and you can add, for example. But I don't know if this is, again, give me the response, but I think that it's not working because the field create books doesn't exist in mutation. So it depends on how you're configuring. I think that I configured for the wrong, for my changes in my local. So that is different API that I had. So far, how is it going with time? We have like 15 minutes more. Okay. If we're okay, I just wanted to show you again what else I was going to show you about the Swagger and the tests. Okay, I remembered. Okay, so I show you that in this container, we saw everything on this container, and we are seeing that your terminal has the run dev, and the problem is that you in this container you have one running, but you can do the same structure, and I'll show you by using your local. For example, I'll show you my other environment, which is a Docker environment with locals, and that's it. The same scenario that we have, but using Docker. In this case, you can run at the same time the same container, which is the Microsoft Data API Builder latest, and you can configure more than one running. with the same configuration. I already run this. You just have to have one terminal per each container. I already launched that, so I have this in my Docker platform. Let me see. So we have the 3 containers and the database local, so, which is connected to that for this scenario. So in that case, what we'll see is that we have the different ports, 5003, 4, 5, for each container, and the database connected to each data APL builder, for example. So this is another scenario that can work for you if you want to have more than one API running at the same time. And the other scenario is that you can have it in local, right? Configure in local, and where you have to just change your variables and see where you're running, right? So for that, I think that that's all that I wanted to show you right now. So I'll return to my presentation and show you the resources for that. This is the VS Code dev containers, where I show you all these scenarios where the container is, and the banana K-pop and the Swagger connection that you can use in there. And the dab repo for that, the documentation where you can read all about it, and the dab container registry, where you can do the actual container in your locals if you want to test more and create customized container with your different configurations. So thank you for having me in this session. I think that
Amazing.
Mhm.
Thanks, Carlos. That was a perfect session. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for sharing all this great information with us. So we'll be waiting a little bit, several minutes for if anyone has any question.
Okay.
So Carlos is here as we have him, so we can get some more knowledge from Carlos.
Mhm. Okay. If I can, with gladly I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if you guys have any question, just post in the chat and I will be highlighting it on the screen. We have a comment of hi. Hi, Bohmid. Welcome.
Mhm.
Okay, looks like everything is clear. The session is recorded, and as soon as we stop the streaming, it will be immediately available on YouTube, and then I will be sharing it also on other social channels such as Microsoft Learning Rooms, LinkedIn page, Twitter, and website. So then you can watch it again if you would like to. If not, if you missed the session, you can also watch the recording afterwards. So perfect. And thank you, Carlos, for your time in the weekend, and thanks everyone who joined the session.
Thank you for having me on this show.
Of course, anytime. So thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.